Lions find themselves with 9 unrestricted free agents, 6 of whom are on offense. That list includes quarterback Damon Allen.
I do have a desire to play football, and we'll be committed once again to prepare myself. It's my hope that I will be on this team.
Have I had fun this year? No, I haven't had any fun at all. Ever since back in training camp, it was ridiculous things about me not being able to run anymore, me being on the outs. It's been something that's been lingering all season in my heart and in my mind.
The Lions will have to make some tough decisions on defense. The West nominee for Outstanding Defensive Player, David Benefield, is now a free agent. So is defensive back Dale Joseph, who is now talking about retirement.
I'm here and I'm playing for one reason, and that's to be a championship team and become a champion. And if I don't have an opportunity to do that, there's no way that I'm going back on the field.
After 24 years, kicker Louis Fasaglia may have cleaned out his locker for the last time. Fasaglia struggled with injuries this season, and the Lions are not making any promises.
We'll see where it goes, but first of all, I got to take care of myself physically, and if I'm healthy, I still think I can contribute. But again, I don't think it'll be my call.
The Lions not only lost the Western Final, they also lost a lot of money for owner David Braley this season. So keep in mind, when it comes to making changes for next season, football is still a business, and in any business, to find the truth, it's always best to follow the money. David Pratt, TSN, Vancouver.
It's always about the money with Pratt, and for the 4th straight year, the Montreal Alouettes lost in the Eastern Final. Michael Whalen will have that story later in this show.
Yeah, a few highlights for the Lions and the Alouettes this past week, but there were a bunch of good ones, and we have compiled them in our TSN Plays of the Week.
I'm wild! Awesome. Woo! Man! Woo! Man!
It goes off to Carter. Vince Carter down.
Oh, slam dunk!
McGrady takes it right to the hoop again.
Oh, gotta be kidding!
Here is Tanguay. Side of the net. Drury bouncing. He scores! Milan Hayduk. And Capon in over the line using that big reach. Going to the net.
Interesting feeling being, first of all, sitting on something so powerful.
Trying to get the elbow pad. Oh, that's from McCarthy, and he caught him, and now McCarthy hammers away. Simpson trying to come back with right. Rock and sock him time right here, folks. Trying to get the elbow pad. Oh, that's from McCarthy, and he caught him, and now McCarthy hammers away. Simpson trying to come back with right. Rock and sock him time right here, folks.
Was he fouled here? Watch his head. His head was hit on the way.
Curry with a steal, and a good foul by Jerome Williams. Otherwise,
watch his head. His head was...
I felt pretty good about my pace.
Now McNair on a called run, turns it wide, heading to the end zone, up over the top. He's in. McNair with his second rushing touchdown.
and it was Baron Miles. 2 interceptions already, running down to catch up to Higgins. He's not open. What a catch he makes.
Really deep, back to the 40. October has it. Up the hash marks, and a big return. Ozzy's the only man back. Waits in October. He's gone. Here comes Joe Higgins for one last chance. Touchdown. Into the end zone. Unbelievable. Corey Bradford.
Shoots, saved by Hodgson across the Andrechuk. Rising shot in front door.
How about giving us the money back, the hours that I spent with him? You know how much I charge per hour working with players?
A good edition of the plays this week. Time for a quick break. Lots to come in the second half. We'll take you back to the Hockey Hall of Fame for more on Wayne Gretzky's induction. But first, another classic century moment.
November 22nd, 1986, 20-year-old Mike Tyson becomes the youngest heavyweight champion in history, destroying Trevor Berbick in the second round. Berbick's futile attempts to regain his senses were in vain.
He's gigantic. It's going to be all over. He can't continue. It's all over.
Classic Century Moments, brought to you by Ford. For now, forever. Even though Lions owner David Braley estimates he'll lose $1.5 million in revenue, that's the difference between a probable sellout if the Lions were in the game, but of course they are not. The Stampeders will represent the West against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who arrived in Vancouver this afternoon.
I can't find my bag. Everything turned out to be pretty good. I'm here at the Grey Cup finally in 7 years it took me, and now I can't find my bags. Go figure.
Vancouver's been very well. That's where I won my 2 Grey Cups. I lost 3 outside of Vancouver, so maybe the magic will still be there for this one.
It's nice to be back. A lot of memories will come shooting back, but we're here for one thing, and that's to try to win a Grey Cup.
And both teams will be practicing tomorrow. The player awards go Friday night. The game itself, Sunday, kickoff here on CBC at 5 o'clock. The Ottawa Senators expect to have forward Marian Hossa back.
But a little bit warmer here in the cozy confines of BC Place than it was out in Winnipeg. And you know, when the Lions lost in the Western Final, a lot of people very concerned that it would have a dramatic impact on ticket sales, and it definitely will have some sort of impact. But so far, they're still doing pretty well. 41,000 so far, ensuring that this will be a successful end to what has been a terrific CFL season. And here's the best of what we saw in 1999, our plays of the year.
Canadian football, baby, at its finest.
Kicks far enough, but it is wide to the left. And the Ticats down by 10, running around Corey Grant. He's thinking about taking it out. He is. And he is getting it out. Corey Grant is still going. Giancola, the only one who can catch him, and he doesn't.
That's Canadian football right there, baby.
Here's Calvillo. He's going to pass. Going deep, looking for it. Oh, Ben Cahoon.
Time. He'll go deep. Tyree Davis is open. And a diving catch by Davis. Sarkisian on first down. Oh, my.
He had his own end zone to Mayfield, who takes it at BC's 45. Mayfield looking for some room, and he's got all kinds of room. Curtis Mayfield will score.
That continues. Scramble in the end zone. Gets away from a man. That was Montford. He looks into the end zone. Oh, it's caught. What a catch. Alan Pitts keeps him five.
Ton of terrific plays and really a ton of terrific players, and we're fortunate enough to have perhaps the 2 best this season playing in this game. Alan Pitts of the Stampeders squaring off against Danny McManus of the Ticats. And Matt, I don't think McManus has had a finer season.
He really hasn't, and I think what's distinguished this season from the others is the fact that he's been so poised. We know that he's got a quick release. He's now a veteran, experienced quarterback, but his demeanor, his calm attitude, that his teammates feel across the board is reflected in their play this year. It hasn't been up and down. It's been a very even-keeled Danny McManus. He can throw 5 interceptions and come back and beat you. He's got the same look on his face. Danny McManus has proven that, and that's why he's got his team back to the Grey Cup this year.
Well, Matt, I agree with that, and I think in Calgary, Alan Pitts has proven himself as a key component in that team. Hey, of all the guys, this is the last one you worry about getting wrapped up in Grey Cup festivities. This is a guy that has caught the football for more yards in the Canadian Football League than anybody. But you know what? That's a consistency. That's expected. What separates him is his ability to play under pressure and perform under pressure. If it's 3rd and 10, those Calgary quarterbacks and their progressions of reads, their first read is where's Alan Pitts? They find Alan Pitts, they make a play, they get a first down. He's the key to me, James.
And well deserving of that outstanding player nomination. But one thing that has very much helped Alan Pitts so far, not as many double teams because he has a pretty good buddy on the other side, Glenn.
Travis Moore, and I had a chance to recently sit down with Travis Moore and talk about his season. His best year as a pro, almost 1,200 yards receiving on the season, but it was a very trying year for Travis Moore and his family. His brother Calvin, who plays for the Cincinnati Bengals, sustained a serious neck injury in a preseason game versus Detroit. It was enough to almost make Travis Moore retire from the game. It's a very inspiring story, and we'll have it on Wednesday.
And we look forward to that, and we will have plenty more on Wednesday. In fact, we will be here every single day of the week getting you ready for the game on every edition of The Desk. For now, let's send you back to the show.
Thanks, guys. Great start in Vancouver. Back to...
We're so excited about Sunday's game, they're already over at BC Place. Here now is your host, James Duthie.
Thank you, and welcome to Vancouver for Grey Cup Week 1999. Yes, we'll be at BC Place all week long getting you ready for the big game. And heck, we brought the whole team with us. We got the quarterback, Matt Dunnigan, the lineman, Chris Schultz, and the safety, Glenn Suter. Looking good, and if you guys were about 10 years younger, we could have taken a run at this thing. But no, it is the Stamps and the Tiger Cats. A couple of teams that took the long road to get here, but very worthy. Chris?
You know, especially when you think about the Hamlin Ticats, a very worthy representative from the Eastern Conference. One of the keys to their success is in the last 5 games, they have had no serious injuries to their starting 24. That continuity is everything. Another key is the fact that this is a team that plays exceptionally well when the chips are down, when that adversity hits. You know, when you look at that Montreal game, the Toronto game, the penalties, the turnovers, the controllable issues, they did not play their best football due to those circumstances. But you know what? When the going gets tough, they're at their best. I'll tell you what, Matty, come Sunday, this team's going to be mentally ready to play Calgary.
They better, because Calgary has been a team that has overcome adversity all season long. Started last year with the departure of Garcia. Dave Dickinson takes over, then they got to go to Burst, then they go to McCoy. They play with 3 different quarterbacks this year and gotten the job done. On the other side of the football, they lose a key component to their defense, their leader, Alondra Johnson, for the last 5 weeks of the season. They get KJ to come in, and he does the job. This is a team that's been getting it done, Glenn, no matter who's at the helm on both offense and defense.
Yeah, and I love the rematch element to this football game. And in today's day and age of free agency, it's as close to a real rematch as you can get. 25 players on the Hamilton roster were in the game last year. 28 players on the Calgary roster were in the game. The only notable change for the Stamps is really Jeff Garcia, but Dave Dickinson has proven that he can win the big game, and it's Corey Grant for Hamilton, and of course, he's the Eastern nominee for Rookie of the Year. When you look at the regular season, Week 13, Calgary won a close game by 4. Hamilton won by 3 in Week 18, really a game that really didn't matter to either team. And when you go back to the Grey Cup, it took the full 60 minutes to decide the outcome. And I have no reason to believe it won't be the same on Sunday.
Yeah, it has the makings of another close one. We want to introduce you to a couple of other members of our team. Farhan Lalji will be covering the Ticats this week. Sherry Hargrave will be covering the Stamps. Both teams arrived in Vancouver on Tuesday. Let us begin with Sherry and the defending Grey Cup champions.
Yell it out, baby. One more, and then you're done.
Less than 24 hours after winning the Western Final, the Calgary Stampeders have arrived back in Vancouver, ready to defend their Grey Cup title.
You know, right now it feels pretty great to be in a situation to come back and play for another Grey Cup, and I think we're prepared to do the task.
You know, we're all a little tired, but we're excited to come right back to Vancouver. We had a battle and a war on Sunday, and we expect another one against Hamilton.
Well, it's always exciting to be in the Grey Cup week, and I think it's extra exciting to be back in BC after such a thrilling win on Sunday.
The Stampeders know they will not be the crowd favorites after knocking off the BC Lions. But even worse, they are facing a team that is hungry for redemption.
Yeah, we have to match their hunger. I think that's the biggest thing. Last year they didn't win it. No team wants to lose 2 Grey Cups in a row.
We don't want to look back to last year. We want to just look at this year, and
The games against Hamilton this year have been very close, and they're a very good football team, very well coached. They got a lot of great guys on that team and a lot of great football players. So it's going to be a tough challenge for us, but you know, we want to go out there on Sunday and prove why we're the champions, and hopefully you know, maintain that.
It's great for the league. It's great for the CFL to have a rematch of last year's Grey Cup. It was a great game last year, and we're expecting the same thing. Hamilton's a very good football team. We got a lot of respect for them as an organization and as a football team, and we're expecting a very tough game with them once again this year.
The biggest question facing the Stampeders is the health of quarterback Dave Dickinson and running back Kelvin Anderson. Dickinson admits he's far from 100%, but says he'll be okay to play. As for Anderson, all eyes will be on him as he tests out his wonky ankle for the first time Wednesday morning at BC Place. Now, with more on the arrival of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, here's Farhan Lalji.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats arrived in Vancouver shortly after 1 p.m. Pacific time with some unfinished business on their minds.
We're back. That's right. That's right. That's right. Don't sleep. We back, baby. We back.
A year ago, the Ticats were just happy to be in the big game. This time, though, their approach is all business.
We have enough veterans that were here last year that realizes that you get to the Grey Cup not too often. We're very fortunate to be back here. Last year, we let it get away, and a lot of our veterans talked about that on the trip out, that you know, they're going to have fun, but they're going to be ready to play.
We feel as a team that we left something out there on the field, and last time we came to the Grey Cup, so we want to come out here and try to prove that.
For Danny McManus and Darren Flutie, a Grey Cup in Vancouver brings with it more than just ideal weather conditions. In 1994, McManus and Flutie were major factors in the BC Lions' run to the Grey Cup, and they're hoping for a similar outcome this time around.
Just the energy in BC Place, it was just crazy. I never felt that before in a football game, and being on the sidelines and they were singing Canadian national anthem, it was just a great moment. I remember that like it was yesterday.
The memories of '94 are great. I mean, that's a great ball club that was, I guess, assembled by Coach Ritchie to make a run after the Grey Cup. We didn't have a home game until the Grey Cup, so it worked out very well. It's one of those things that it's kind of, I don't know if it's fate or anything like that, but it was just a great run.
McManus is actually 2 for 2 in Grey Cups at BC Place. In 1990, he backed up Tom Burgess in Winnipeg's 50-11 victory over Edmonton.
And now you're putting the horns on me, Farhan, so we'll see what happens after that. Yeah, Vancouver's been very well. That's where I won my 2 Grey Cups. I lost 3 outside of Vancouver, so maybe the magic will still be there for this one.
In the final game of the regular season, Hamilton came from behind to beat Calgary in a game that really meant nothing to either team. In that contest, Danny McManus threw for 337 yards, 1 touchdown, and more importantly, no interceptions. He hopes for a similar performance this coming Sunday with a lot more on the line. James?
All right, thank you, Farhan. You know, in this room, we have a bevy of Grey Cup experience. Between the 4 of us, we have been there 9 times. That's 9.
4 of us. 6, 2, 1.
Okay, well, I was there last year. I didn't say anything about playing. By the way, he had 6, you only had 1, so you shouldn't be talking at all. Anyway, you guys have been there plenty of times. The guys all sounding very professional, very relaxed, but you know there has to be a lot going on in their heads. How do you go about preparing? It's not a routine week, is it, Chris?
No, it's not a routine week at all. And I remember, for me, it was a mixed message, a contradiction from the coaches. I mean, on one hand, they said, go out, have fun. You deserve some time to go see the city, but make sure you're focused. Go out and have fun, but make sure you practice. And went on and on and on. Here's the bottom line. Play the 48-hour rule. 48 hours before the game, you flip the switch and you become a professional football player, which means you take responsibility for your mental approach to the game. At least 48 hours. Hey, both of these teams will be ready for the game, but they have to put it together at the right moment, Glenn.
Absolutely. And, Chris, I did that balancing act during the regular season, but when I got a chance to go to the Grey Cup in Toronto in '89, I approached it very businesslike because there's such a fine line between winning and losing, especially in a game with this magnitude. I felt like I wouldn't have been able to live with myself if I wasn't as prepared as I could be. So I was in the room the whole time. Now, Matt, that worked for me, but it's different for every player, and it'll be different for both these teams.
Yeah, well, Glenn, let me just say this right up top. 11 years, you balanced it really well, too, my man. The Hamilton Tiger Cats this year, I think, will be a completely different team. 97, they had a horrendous season. Yes, last year they go to the Grey Cup, and they're just happy to be there. This year, I don't think they're going to be happy to be there. They want to win it. Go back to 84, 85. They went there. They were happy to be there. 86, they wanted to win it. 1986, I was with the Eskimos. We're just happy to be there, first time back in a long time. We get it handed to us by the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So I think Hamilton this year in '99 is taking a different mindset going into this game, James.
You talked a little bit about history. The last time two second-place teams went to the Grey Cup, it was 1987. Matt Dunnigan's Eskimos beating Chris Schultz's Argos, Glenn Suter's Riders, nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, well, yeah, just like you, I was watching it on TV.
That is it for now. We'll be back with more later on in the show, guys.
Vacancies. We're talking about Ron Lancaster.
The Lancaster connection.
Has to be their number one choice, but don't think he'll be here.
Will he come to Saskatchewan or won't he?
Can't
Well,
see it
I think
happening.
he's dealing with Grey Cup matters right now, is it?
Well,
I
yeah,
think so.
I would hope so anyway. Well, next week the Rough Riders should be able to get permission from the Tiger Cats to talk job with Ron Lancaster. Even though his contract expires soon, why wait? Lancaster knows he's the fans' choice to run the Riders, but he has strongly denied any interest in returning to Saskatchewan. And ironically, coaching moves within the CFL was one topic discussed at today's Grey Cup Coaches Conference.
I don't think anybody's ever looking to move. Coaching is a strange business anyway, and if you got things going the way you like them, you better stay there for a while because the grass isn't always greener. It's the same as players playing out their options. They may not like it where they are, but you know what? It all sounds good to go somewhere else, but it always isn't better for them or you.
The CFL is such that most moves are lateral, okay? You don't go to another place necessarily for the money because I don't think they pay the coaches anywhere close to what they deserve. The problems...
I'll second that one.
The problems are the same in every city. You got to deal with ratio, you got to deal with salary caps, you got to deal with all the problems that a lot of you guys really don't even know about. Why is it attractive to go somewhere else? Like I said, it's usually not the money. It has to be something beyond the money. When I was looking at Toronto, in fairness, I could not get excited about going to Toronto. And, you know, you have to get excited about your job. And if you're not, then what's the purpose? It's not money because, like I say, it's not worth it. The money we make is not worth it. And we make good money. I'm not saying we don't. But it's just not worth putting up with all the things you got to do for 365 days.
And on another topic, Lancaster admitted to feeling a little embarrassed for the CFL right now. He was referring to the league's failure to clamp down on taunting. The NFL recently sent letters to all their teams banning the throat-slashing gesture. Lancaster applauded that move and urged the CFL to do the same.
Have you been to some Rider games and seen? I've seen a couple of Rider players do that.
No.
Well, it seems to be a trend. I mean, something new comes up every year. But, you know, I've heard the arguments, they're just out of emotion. They don't mean anything by this. Well, what's next? Flipping the bird and this sort of thing. I mean, where's it going to stop? I mean, you got to put an end to it.
I suppose. All right. Okay. And stay with us. We're back right after this.
Last night, and after a good sleep and a hearty breakfast, the two sides hit the practice field this afternoon to start prepping for Sunday's big rematch. Now here's the latest on what should be a busy Calgary offensive line.
It's no secret the Stampeders' offensive line has been rather soft in 1999. The team gave up a league-high 59 sacks this season, then surrendered 7 to the Lions in last weekend's Western Final.
McCoy in trouble, down he goes.
Our offensive line has been criticized all year about us protecting the quarterback, but we know that's what our job is.
We are a little bit embarrassed by what occurred. So I would think that they're going to be a little bit more motivated to protect the quarterback.
With a quarterback that's not 100% healthy, how much more important is your job this Sunday?
It's very important. You know, we got to protect him to keep him in the game. You know, we got to come out, we got to establish the run and do certain things a little different because he's kind of banged up right now.
You know, whether the quarterback's injured or not should not motivate you any more or any less.
So you have to wonder if one of those 3 sacks has aggravated the shoulder problem.
If an injured quarterback and porous O-line weren't enough, add Joe Montford to the mix, the league's leading sacker the past 2 seasons.
Montford has his 11th sack of the season.
Well, Joe Montford's a great player. He has the ability to rush the passer. He has the ability to make quarterbacks scramble and move their feet much more than they want to. And I've got the assignment of getting him 99% of the time, and I've just got to be on top of my game and shut him down.
All we ask him to do is go to that quarterback. We know that's what he likes to do. That's what we want him to do, and he enjoys it.
The Calgary Stampeders are seeking their 2nd straight championship and 5th title in team history. But if the team hopes to be parading around with the Grey Cup this Sunday, their main job won't be containing the opposing quarterback. It will be protecting their own.
Meantime, the CFL has announced its 1999 All-Star team, and can you guess, Bill and Tara, How many riders made the grade? Yeah, Zilcho, thanks very much. 6 Tiger Cats were honored, including Danny McManus, Darren Flutie, and Joe Monford. Calgary also had 6 players in the squad, led by Alan Pitts and William Hampton. Lions, Argonauts, and Alouettes showed up 4 times each, while Edmonton and Winnipeg both had a single player honored. Now the CFL brass ignored the play of both Willie Pless, the CFL's second leading tackler, and O-lineman John Terry is beyond us. Well, football players are tough. Rugby players are tough and a little crazy. Well, Cowboys are simply tough, crazy, and covered in denim. Now, the first performance of the...
With you, Glenn Suter will join us a little bit later on in the show. And you know, the one question being asked around Vancouver today, besides what's Matt Dunnigan really like, how is Kelvin Anderson's ankle? We send our Sherry Hargrave looking for the answer.
Kelvin Anderson took to BC Place turf Wednesday morning for test number 1. The All-Canadian running back had a light workout, his first since hurting his left ankle in the Western semifinal.
As far as having the pain that I felt last week, it wasn't there, but, you know, it's still a tender spot. But as far as the pain, it really was the pain that stopped me from playing last week, and that wasn't there, so I feel like I'll be okay.
Among the others testing their injuries Wednesday was punter Tony Martino. He pulled a hip flexor in the Western semifinal. Martino took snaps, but opted not to punt.
I'm probably just going to rest it maybe till Friday or Saturday and see how, you know, it responds to treatment. I'm going to get treatment all week and then go from there. Regardless, I'll be in there playing.
Dave Dickinson took first reps in the workout. As expected, he says his injured shoulder will not keep him from starting on Sunday.
I'm going to take it semi-slow this week so that try to not re-aggravate it and re-injure it and just let her rip on Sunday.
But Dickinson will need some better protection come game day. His offensive line gave up 7 sacks last weekend.
Well, this week can't be any worse than it was last week. So Hamilton, like BC, has a very good front four that can get up the field. And, you know, our guys, you know, I know today, if you talk to them, probably are a little bit embarrassed by what occurred. So I would think that they're going to be a little bit more motivated to protect the quarterback.
Well, yeah, we struggled last weekend. It was embarrassing for us as a unit, and you know, this week we want to redeem ourselves, and you know, we're lucky to have another week to be able to do that. And so, you know, Hamilton is a good defense, but you know, we're going to prepare this week really hard and then come out there and be ready to go on Sunday.
They'll have to be ready. Hamilton led the league with 48 quarterback sacks. James?
All right, thank you, Sherry. Now, Chris, you're a pretty nice guy most of the time, but I know when you put on the helmet, you could be a little bit of a meanie, and football is a mean game. Now, if you were the Hamilton Tiger Cats, you know Dave Dickinson's shoulder is hurt. Do you go out and try to hurt him?
Well, I don't think it's anything that is really spoken of openly, but I know the players are very aware of the limitations physically that Dave Dickinson has. He truly is one hit away from being out of the football game. I think this is a very important issue because the one thing I took from the playoff game between BC and Calgary is the BC Lions were very effective in pressuring Dave Dickinson, sometimes from the edge, sometimes from the interior. Now, this is a very veteran group of offensive linemen. They have to play better to protect their quarterback, because if it becomes a health issue, if it becomes a quarterback rhythm issue, and your starter is not there, it may become the most important factor in the game, Matt.
You know, one of the reasons Dickinson may have been out of rhythm and the offensive line was struggling so much is the fact that Kelvin Anderson was not in the lineup. Now, Rock Pressman is a quality back from Florida State, did an admirable job. But when you lose an all-star, one of the big three, Pitts, Danielson, and you lose Anderson in that mix, it can disrupt your entire offensive structure. And Dickinson was feeling the effects of that last week. With Anderson back in the lineup this week, look for him to get back into his rhythm and see that offense flow like it has all year long.
Now, as for the Ticats, they have arrived at the exact same destination as last year, but the journey was far from easy. In fact, these were really stray cats until they found themselves one day in September. Here's Farhan Lalji.
During the course of a season, any championship team will find a defining moment. For the Hamilton Tiger Cats, that moment came back on September the 12th in the form of a 52-19 blowout at the hands of the Montreal Alouettes. At the time, the Ticats were floundering with a 5-5 record, but after that wake-up call, Hamilton won 6 of its final 8 games.
At that point, we either had to turn into a good football team or we're going to go downhill from there. So, yeah, I think that was a wake-up call, because the next time we got them at home, we beat them pretty good.
I think after that game, I think it finally hit home that, hey, we played these guys 3 times, and they beat us 3 times, and this time they almost killed us. Maybe we do need to get a little bit tougher. And from that point on, it seems like the attitude and the practices and everything, it just seemed to be a little more intense.
Lancaster expects his veteran players to be able to handle all the distractions of Grey Cup week. At Wednesday's practice, they were all very loose, taking their cue from their easygoing leader, Danny McManus.
When it's time to practice, focus on what you have to do at practice. Once we get off that field, enjoy the festivities that are happening around here. And the guys did that yesterday and plan on doing it again today.
I was just talking to him a few minutes ago in the hotel, and I don't know with Danny, it's hard to tell what day it is. You know, he doesn't get too excited. I said, everything okay? Yeah, okay. That was the end of the conversation. I didn't know what else to ask him. I just know Danny prepares.
While the Ticats don't plan on changing how they prepare this week, they do plan on giving special attention to defending Alan Pitts. In 2 games against Hamilton this season, Pitts has caught 12 passes for 194 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's not a guy that likes to get hit and jam. And Gerald Vaughn and Chris Schilling like to do a lot of, like to be physical. When you can be physical with him, I think you can take him off his game a little bit.
Unlike the Calgary Stampeders, the Hamilton Tiger Cats are very healthy heading into Sunday's game. Lancaster said the only possible lineup change might come with defensive back Frank West. He's been bothered all season long with an injured quad. If he is available, he would take the place of rookie cornerback Shino Prater. Lancaster won't make that decision until Thursday. James?
Thank you, Farhan. And yes, health-wise, it's the exact opposite of last year. Remember, last year, Ronald Williams was hurt. The Ticats running back in the Calgary was completely healthy. This year, it's Calgary's Kelvin Anderson who's limping around, and the Ticats are completely healthy. All right, let us continue our focus on the matchup between the Calgary offense and the Hamilton defense. We all know what Joe Monfort can do, but is he the key to the Ticats' pass rush?
Not really. I don't think Joe Monfort in this particular game is the key. I think more than anything else, the defensive tackles as a rotation are the key to pressure on Dave Dickinson. Jeff Cummings, Derek McCready, Mike Campbell, and Mike Philbrick, at some point in this game, one of them has to come through and make a big play. The key will be a matchup between the guards with Calgary and those defensive tackle. There has to be a point where one of those 4 guys makes a play and gets Dave Dickinson out of his rhythm, Matt.
Yes, and speaking of Don Southern, defensive coordinator of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who's participating in his 16th Grey Cup game this week, he says that it's exactly right, Chris. This defensive line is where they've improved defensively this year. 98, they weren't as strong. With the addition of Tim Terry, and he's pushed out Gonzalo Floyd on the edge completely. But that defensive interior line is going to be a key, and it also frees up Calvin Tiggle, Lamar Griggs, and Joe Higgins on the outside where they can run around and make plays with those receivers of Calgary.
All right, now when we return, hey now, you're an all-star. We'll reveal the All-Canadians, and Glenn Suter will get up close with one of them, Travis Moore. For now, let's send it back to the desk. Well, it looks like the Ticats will be getting a full dose of Kelvin Anderson on Sunday. The Stamps practice has just wrapped up, and the Stamps tell us Anderson looked pretty good and is still expected to play. We didn't see the practice. Practices were closed today, but the media did get a chance to sit down with the Stamps at their own little media breakfast, which is a ton of fun unless you get stuck behind Freddie Childress in the buffet line. The Big Chill gets his big fill. On the menu this morning, lots of food and lots of football talk. Here is Sherry Hargrave with more.
It was an early morning for the Stampeders as they met with the media at the annual Grey Cup breakfast. But Vince Danielson was one athlete that didn't seem to mind the early hour. He's just happy to have the opportunity to play the Grey Cup in his home city of Vancouver. The last time the Grey Cup was here was in 1994, the year Danielson's dreams were dashed in the Western Final. The 15-3 Stampeders thought they had beat the BC Lions. That was until the deadly duo of Danny McManus and Darren Flutie hooked up late in the game, destroying Danielson's hopes of playing in the Grey Cup in Vancouver.
Dan McManus came down the field and hit Darren Flutie in the end zone with a second left to beat us 37-36 and really take away those dreams from us.
You know, they just click really well, and a lot of times they're running routes that they just kind of drop in a sandbox, and somehow he gets the ball to them. And so they're really hard to defend because they're all clicking on the same cylinder.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats offense is potent all around. This season, the Tabbies led the league in total offense. McManus threw the most touchdowns with 28, and running back Ronald Williams recorded the most touchdowns with 15. To sum it up, Danny McManus' Ticats will be tough for the Stampeders to shut down.
I think you have to understand that you're not going to shut him down. I think if you go and approach the game that way, he's not going to frustrate you, or he's not going to upset you in how things evolve. He's going to get completions, he's going to get first downs, and he's probably going to score points on you. But the thing that you don't want to do is give him the easy play and the easy touchdown.
While McManus and Flutie get a lot of the press, Archie Amerson could be the key to Hamilton's offense. He's an athlete with great speed and can play multiple positions. That poses quite a challenge for the Stamps defense to contain him.
We're going to use a dime package, where we'll bring maybe a couple extra defensive backs in and have a defensive back cover Archie and not get matched up with a linebacker because we can't cover him. He's too quick, he's too fast, so we have to get a defensive back on him. And that, hopefully that'll slow him down.
Treat him as a wide receiver, and I think we'll do well doing that. We did that when we played him last time, and it worked out pretty good for us. Last time we played him last year in the Grey Cup, we used a linebacker, and he got a few plays, but we're not going to do that this year.
Danny McManus has had a lot of success against Calgary in both matchups this season, passing for over 330 yards in each game. So for Calgary to become back-to-back Grey Cup champions, their defense will have to be rock solid. James?
Thank you, Sherry. And yes, it is true. When you look at the Ticats offense, everybody talks about Danny Mack and his merry little band of receivers. But when they're at most successful, it's usually set up by the running game.
That's right. And surprisingly, they do have a very balanced attack. And when you look at this, it's simply this. Hamilton's second least attempts in the league, but second in average per game when they do run the football. They do it out of a 5-pack set. And what this does is spreads the football field for the defense and creates wider holes for LaPointe and Williams to run through. And, Chris, they've had tremendous success doing this all year long, and they've given them a balanced attack, which is needed when you come down to this final game.
You know, Matty, one of the consistencies in the Canadian Football League is if you establish the run, you're going to win the game. The reason is because it allows you on first down to have flexibility in your play calling. You can still call traps, screens, options, different phases of football. The offense dictates to the defense. Now, if you don't have first down success running the football, 2nd and 10 scenarios, then it's the different situation. Now the defense has line stunts, blitzes, bump and run coverage. They are dictating to the offense. First down is absolutely critical. You know, one of the key words is always rhythm on offense. All rhythm is a series of small successes, play after play after play, leading into a touchdown. And the most critical time is the first down to start that rhythm, James.
It's true. And, you know, Ronald Williams, really a guy not talked about much. He's really the other Ron on the Hamilton Tiger Cats, a forgotten man in the backfield. But the Stamps better not forget him because he could punish them on Sunday. Our Farhan Lalji goes one-on-one with Ronald Williams.
Thanks, James. Ronald, a bit of a different feeling for you heading into this year's Grey Cup. Last year it was, is he going to play, isn't he going to play? You had the hamstring injury. This year you're 100%.
Well, we're going in pretty relatively healthy, and, you know, we're just going to go out and play hard and give people what they want, and that's a really good football game.
How different have the Ticats approached preparation for this game than you did a year ago?
We just came in a little bit wiser. That's about it. Nothing else has changed. Coach Lancaster has kept the same format as last year. We're just a little bit wiser this year, and we know what we have to do in order to get this job accomplished.
Yeah, when they talk about the Ticats offense, they talk about Danny McManus, over 5,000 yards passing. But really the running game is what sets it apart. You lead the league in rushing touchdowns. How important is it to get the running game involved early?
Well, it's not going to dictate what we do. We just, if it helps us, it helps us. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, we're one of the teams in the league that, hey, we run second. You know, we're going to come out throwing, and, hey, if you can stop it, stop it. If not, then, hey, we're going to keep throwing.
Talk about the guys up front. Fewest sacks allowed in the CFL. They've been opening up some pretty nice holes for you as well.
Yeah, one of the best offensive line in the league. They go unnoticed. No one gives them any recognition, but, you know, they're one of the best units in the league, and it's sorry that their hard work doesn't go noticed. That, you know, it's just highway robbery is what it is.
Are there any things in the Calgary defense that you think you'll be able to exploit this weekend?
No, we're just going to go out and attack them. We're not going to change anything we do for them just because, you know, we know how they play. They're not going to change anything for us. It's just going to go out and we're going to play hard. That's the bottom line.
All right, Ron, best of luck this weekend.
All right, thank you so much.
James.
All right, thank you, Farhan. And when we return, we'll try to get Dunnigan and Schultz to trash talk each other because there's none of that going on here this week. A lot of respect. It's become the Love Bowl, especially between the two coaches. They have an awful lot of respect for each other. More on that a little bit later on in the show. Jim?
Thank you, fellas. We'll take a
Vancouver, that's what it looks like outside BC Place. Never matters, of course, inside the Dome. James Duthie back with Matt Dunnigan and Chris Schultz. And, you know, if there's one thing missing from this week, well, it's hate so far. Nobody really dislikes each other. There's no trash talking going on. It's a virtual love-in. Just listen to the two head coaches talk about each other.
They have a good sound system that Wally likes, that they play, and they play it very well. You're always going to play them 60 minutes. It's never going to be, don't ever think it's going to be 55 minutes or 56 minutes. You better be ready to play 60. They're very solid, very sound in what they do.
Ron knows how to prepare his team. I think his players respond very well to his coaching. I think that was very evident last year when he went to Hamilton to a team that probably had forgotten how to win. And Ron instantly gave them the ability to know how to win. And I think, you know, most teams are a reflection of their coaches.
Well, the respect they have is obvious and well-deserved, but, you know, just once I'd like to hear somebody say something nasty about somebody.
It's not going to happen, James. We've got 2 veteran football teams here that are simply know that it's very, very important for them not to give anybody fuel for the fire. You want to get the pig fat before the roast. Come game day, it tastes better that way. What I'm talking about is, I'm a receiver going up against a DB. I'm not going to say, hey, I'm going to beat this guy. I'm going to take him to the cleaners. I'm going to score twice on him. I'm going to say how good he is. I'm going to shower with him accolades. And then come game day, I'm going to go out there and do my job. When I do it and I beat him, it's going to feel that much better. And I think these 2 teams, Chris, are veteran enough to know that. And they're mere reflections of their 2 head coaches.
Oh, that's a good point. You know, don't think for one moment, because there's kind of like a nice attitude, that these 2 teams won't be ready to play. They'll have a mean streak on come Sunday afternoon. The bottom line is each and every player on an individual basis prepares differently. If I could take you into the locker room 2 hours before kickoff, you'd see some guys quiet, just blindly staring off into space. Other guys so loud and talking, you got to tell them to shut up because they're disturbing you. It is so extreme. The fact that they're not saying anything negative, to me, it proves that these 2 are class organizations with class people, James.
Okay, we had getting the pig fat before the roast. Right. We had the pancakes earlier.
Getting hungry.
Yeah, we're getting hungry. So we're going to go get a snack. Later on the next edition of The Desk, Glenn Suter will sit down with Danny McManus. And do not forget, then, tomorrow, a full 2 hours of Grey Cup preview action. We'll have the Grey Cup preview show, an hour of that first, everything you need to know about the game, and that leads into the Dodge Outstanding Player Awards, which includes Chris Schultz in a tuxedo. You don't want to miss that. That's coming up Friday on TSN.
The last 10 years or so, and I'm sure a lot of other CFL teams, namely one in this province, would like to get a hold of. But kickoff to the '99 Grey Cup game is now 3 days away. The Calgary Stampeders have been the CFL's team of the '90s. It's Wally Buono's hire from within policy that has kept this team on or near the top. More from Doug Dirks.
There really is no such thing as a free meal, as the Stampeders discovered at this morning's annual Western Division breakfast. The players and coaches grabbing a quick bite before being grilled extensively by the media. Everyone is interested in the Stamps' recipe for success. Coach Wally Buono has been the head chef for the past decade. Roy Shivers has been providing the key ingredients.
Talent is not the only criteria you look for. You know, we're a veteran ball club. We've had guys around 4 or 5 years, and we've tried to interject some young kids to go along with them. And we have an attitude that, hey, we can play this game and let's get after people.
This is the Stamps' 5th trip to the Grey Cup during the '90s. The core ingredients have solidified the mix, but the rookies are counted on to keep it fresh.
We're not afraid to bring in young people and give them the opportunity. And I think with that in mind, you always keep a good lifeblood of players.
Vince Danielson is one of those young players who has benefited from that philosophy, apprenticing under 2 of the best slot backs in the business, Dave Sapungis and Alan Pitts.
This organization has to be given so much credit because they develop from within. You know, they're not, we might lose 2 games and they don't, you know, start bringing in people and sending out people and, you know, jumping ship. You know, really they're saying, listen, we've got the people here. Right now, we believe we can win.
But the Stamps aren't afraid to add a little extra spice in a pinch. 3 months ago, it looked like Mike McCoy's football career was over. But the Stamps gave him a call. He answered, and McCoy is now a valuable member of the family.
That shows at the end of games when we have to make the big plays. You know, we're a family here. We're a close-knit group, and little things like that take a team a long way, and I think that's one of the reasons why the organization is so successful.
When things are on the line like they were maybe last week, everybody's rallying around each other. They're not pointing fingers, but they're encouraging everybody, and it allows us to go out and just execute while we're on the field.
It's good, and the Calgary Stampeders are Grey Cup champions.
And, of course, you can see the game here on CBC. Kickoff 5 o'clock on Sunday. We'll have more on the Grey Cup game later in sports. And thanks to Thanksgiving in the United States, a couple of NFL games to tell you about as well.
Good stuff. We'll look.
500 members of the Canadian media have been accredited for this week's Grey Cup game in Vancouver. Most of them are familiar with the hoopla surrounding the CFL title game, but the hype and the scrutiny can be a major distraction for the players and the coaches if it isn't handled with a sense of humor.
Will you allow your players to have sex before this game?
I don't mind if their wives don't mind.
Ron Lancaster is kidding, of course, but the media and the parties can be somewhat overwhelming for a player not used to this kind of environment.
We went out last night, had our fun, you know, and it's pretty much toning down. So, you know, we're going to have our fun, but, you know, we're going to have our mind ready for the game. We still got a long week to go.
The Stampeders are playing in their 5th Grey Cup game of the decade, and Alan Pitts has played a key role in every one of them. He's the Western nominee for the CFL's Most Outstanding Player Award, but he isn't going to let Friday night's ceremony get in the way of his ultimate goal.
You know, you try to have a good time, but you realize you have to prepare yourself to play Sunday. So I just think that whatever else goes on, it's really not a big thing because Sunday is what it's all about.
Dave Dickinson has been to the Grey Cup game as a backup quarterback, but never as a starter. He'll probably need surgery on his left shoulder at the end of the season, but Dickinson is trying to treat this like any other week.
It's a long season, 23 games. I mean, if you think about that, it's amazing. And just do everything possible and give it our best shot Sunday, and hopefully for the both of us, we were able to go in there and contribute and have good games.
And again, it's the Stampeders and the Tiger Cats Grey Cup game on Sunday. Kickoff here on CBC at 5 o'clock. And big congratulations tonight to Saskatchewan Huskies linebacker Mike Latondra. No doubt a little disappointed from last week's loss to Laval. But he won the President's Trophy tonight as the CIAU's top defensive player in the country. So great for Mike Latondra. No doubt his teammates would have liked to have joined him in Toronto for the Vanier Cup festivities and play in the game itself on Saturday, but that'll be Laval against St. Mary's. So,
all right, thanks very much.
Fortunately, maybe next year.
Right. Maryland.
Playoffs. For more on the game, let's head to Vancouver. Here's the coach, James Duthie and company. James?
Night falls, and the party's really starting to begin here in Vancouver as game day approaches on Sunday. Things starting to liven up. You guys have been alive for a couple of days now, but it's time to bear down. It's curfew time. I've let you out the first couple nights. Time to bear down.
No.
Players and the teams are already bearing down. In fact, practices were closed on this Thursday. In fact, this is the time where they work on the top secret stuff like third down passes to linebackers. But we did have a chance to talk to some of the players. First, Farhan Lalji does lunch with the Ticats.
You'll forgive members of the Hamilton Tiger Cats offense if they felt they needed an introduction at their media luncheon on Thursday. All the talk this week is centered on the health of Calgary's Dave Dickinson and Kelvin Anderson, along with how the Ticats might defend Alan Pitts. But it was Hamilton's offense which led the league in both scoring and yardage throughout the regular season.
I think we got the best offense in the league. Our team has never gotten as much respect as maybe people think it, some people think it deserves. I don't really think too much about it. I don't think our guys think too much about it. We're just focusing on our own job and getting it done.
Let them overlook us. We've been overlooked all year long. Nobody expected us to be here. But hey, we're going to take it to them on Sunday, and that's the bottom line. We know we have the #1 offense in the league, and we're going to show why.
A year ago, Ronald Williams limped into the Grey Cup with an injured hamstring. This year, though, the CFL's leader in touchdowns is 100%.
I'm a lot more wise, and I know what it takes to play in this game. And it's just that you just have to concentrate a little bit harder and just go out and play the same game.
Up front, the Tabbies boast an offensive line that set a CFL record for the fewest sacks allowed in a season with just 7. Quarterback Danny McManus knows how to take care of his personal protectors. Wednesday night, he took the O-line out for a rather large steak dinner.
Oh, I did okay. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to see what they ordered, and then I tried to order just as much as they did. Some of the guys got hooked with the oysters. I couldn't go that far, but it was a great night.
There's probably some stiff competition. Danny can throw back some food, but we got some big eaters in our group, too.
As of Thursday, close to 43,000 tickets have been sold for Sunday's game. Lions owner David Braley is hoping for a crowd of close to 47,000. And because of the fact that Danny McManus and Darren Flutie were members of the Lions' 1994 Grey Cup winning team, the Ticats are hoping that they are the sentimental favorites in the hearts of the Vancouver fans. If that happens, the 13th man will be wearing black and yellow. James?
Thank you, Farhan. And it seems sometimes the Ticats actually have 13 men on the field, especially on offense. Only giving up 7 sacks in an 18-game schedule. That is unbelievable. The Stamps gave up that many last week.
You know, James, it is remarkable how well the Hamilton Ticats have protected their quarterback the entire season. We know about Danny McManus and his quick release, but to me, that's just part one of a 4-part picture. I think this offensive line for the Ticats is very well coached. They're technique-oriented in their pass blocking, and they maintain leverage throughout an entire play. Ronald Williams is underestimated in his ability to pick up that blitzing linebacker, giving McManus that extra second. And the two slot backs, Flutie and Amerson, they do a good job of finding those open areas, those voided areas. That helps Danny McManus get the ball to them and make plays. We all know about McManus, but to me, it's a combination of things. Great play from the people around him who are well-studied and well-coached, Matty.
Well, let me take you a little bit further where Danny McManus is at right now. He's in quarterback blitz, and what I mean by this is he's in complete control on the football field. He no longer is thinking, he's simply reacting. And in order to get to that area and that position on the football field, a level of confidence in play, you have to experience it time and time again, and that takes years. It's taken 9 years now. It's a very cherished position because once you get there, you want to stay there as long as you possibly can. And what we're seeing from Danny McManus now is a confident quarterback that's in quarterback blitz and complete control on the football field.
And we will have lots more on Danny McManus later on in the show. Now, an update on one of the key guys for the Stampeders, Kelvin Anderson. Practiced today, looked good, and is still expected to play on Sunday. Now, we are starting to look like the Food Network a little bit right here. We did lunch with the Ticats. Now it's time to do breakfast with the Stamps. Here's Sherry Hargrave.
It was an early morning for the Stampeders as they met with the media at the annual Grey Cup breakfast. But Vince Danielson was one athlete that didn't seem to mind the early hour. He's just happy to have the opportunity to play the Grey Cup in his home city of Vancouver. The last time the Grey Cup was here was in 1994, the year Danielson's dreams were dashed in the Western Final. The 15-3 Stampeders thought they had beat the BC Lions. That was until the deadly duo of Danny McManus and Darren Flutie hooked up late in the game, destroying Danielson's hopes of playing in the Grey Cup in Vancouver.
Dan McManus came down the field and hit Darren Flutie in the end zone with a second left to beat us 37-36 and really take away those dreams from us.
You know, they just click really well, and a lot of times they're running routes that they just kind of drop in the sandbox, and somehow he gets the ball to them. And so they're really hard to defend because they're all clicking on the same cylinder.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats offense is potent all around. This season, the Tabbies led the league in total offense. McManus threw the most touchdowns with 28, and running back Ronald Williams recorded the most touchdowns with 15. To sum it up, Danny McManus' Ticats will be tough for the Stampeders to shut down.
I think you have to understand that you're not going to shut him down. I think if you go and approach the game that way, he's not going to frustrate you, or he's not going to upset you in how things evolve. He's going to get completions, he's going to get first downs, and he's probably going to score points on you. But the thing that you don't want to do is give him the easy play and the easy touchdown.
While McManus and Flutie get a lot of the press, Archie Amerson could be the key to Hamilton's offense. He's an athlete with great speed and can play multiple positions. That poses quite a challenge for the Stamps defense to contain him.
We're going to use a dime package. We'll bring maybe a couple extra defensive backs in and have a defensive back cover Archie and not get matched up with a linebacker because we can't cover him. He's too quick, he's too fast. So we have to get a defensive back on him. And hopefully that'll slow him down.
Treat him as a wide receiver, and I think we'll do well doing that. We did that when we played him last time, and it worked out pretty good for us. Last time we played him last year in the Grey Cup, we used a linebacker, and he got a few plays, but we're not going to do that this year.
Danny McManus has had a lot of success against Calgary in both matchups this season, passing for over 330 yards in each game. So for Calgary to become back-to-back Grey Cup champions, their defense will have to be rock solid. James?
Thank you, Sherry. And yes, it is a very tough task for the Stampeders, controlling all of Hamilton's offensive weapons. At the Stampeders defense, where's the strength there?
Well, to me, the strength of the Calgary Stampeders, James, is at linebacker, no doubt about it. In the Canadian Football League, it's a unique combination of skills. You have to be strong at the point of attack to defend the run, but then you have to have the speed and the finesse to drop into the zones and play man coverage for an entire play. I think these three linebackers for Calgary are exceptional. Daryl Hall may have the best skills in both of those areas. Alondra Johnson plays with the emotion and the commitment to football that rubs off on other players and helps them focus. The big surprise has been Kevin Johnson. He's a rookie. He's adapted to the Canadian League. He figured out all the details. Now all he does is read those offensive linemen and goes with no hesitation to make plays. I wouldn't be surprised, Matty, if one of these linebackers determined the outcome of this game Sunday afternoon.
Well, no doubt the linebackers are a big part of their defense, but I think the secondary is a little underrated. With Coleman, Hampton, Kellogg, Chris, and Frears in the middle, I think this secondary plays it better than most. They are very vanilla, and they make you be consistent down the football field. When you hit midfield, look for a little bit more pressure. Inside the red zone, they do a few other things we won't get into right now. But this defense is going to make Danny McManus be patient all the way down the football field. And Danny McManus, we all know, has a cannon of an arm. And when you got an arm like that, you want to show it off. And there's a tendency to try to push it downfield where the DBs are baiting you and wanting you to throw the football. So the secondary, if they can make Danny Mac be impatient and force the ball into seams that aren't really there, I think it's going to behoove them and benefit them in this football game.
And as promised, later on the show, he is Danny McCool. Our Glenn Suter sits down with Danny Mac and tries to figure out how he stays so calm and confident under pressure. For now, back to the desk.
Schultz! I'm the star! Finally!
Terrific game, and you won it.
That's right.
Now, it wasn't just you guys. The Rocket and some other guys had a little something to do with
Chris
it.
Gaines, our defense, yeah, they all played well.
Just like you guys in '91, we have a very specific game plan for tonight, and we want to lay it out for you right now. All sorts ahead in the next 2 hours. We are going to recap a terrific season and get you ready for the game. We'll talk to both head coaches, both starting QBs, and of course, we'll have the Dodge CFL Outstanding Player Awards hosted by John Wells. Now, it wouldn't be much of a party if you didn't work the crowd a little bit, and we have our expert mingler out there tonight. It's none other than Dave Randorf. Dave?
A professional mingler for the night, and it's a good job too. I'm in the ballroom right beside where the boys are, and there's a lot of people in here talking some football, getting ready. There's a casino here, there's a silent auction. Everybody's getting ready for a great Friday night in Grey Cup week in Vancouver. My part of the show will be to talk to a couple of people I'm sure you'll recognize, both starting quarterbacks, Danny McManus and Dave Dickinson of the Calgary Stampeders. McManus, of course, up for an award this evening, Most Outstanding Player. We will also speak with the Western nominee for that award as well, Alan Pitts, all coming up from the ballroom right beside you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. Now, if you're just getting into the Grey Cup spirit this weekend, and we've been in it for several days now, we want to fill you in on what's been going on this week. It's kind of the 3 Ps, lots of pancakes, lots of parties, and of course, lots of pre-game preparations.
Grey Cup week began with the Stampeders and Ticats arriving in Vancouver in good spirits.
We're back! That's right. That's right. Sleep. That's right. Don't sleep. We back, baby. We back.
Now we're playing against a team that beat us last year. It's going to be a 60-minute ball game. We had 2 games against them this year, went all the way down to the wire, and I don't expect to be anything different than this time.
If we lose this game, it's an incomplete season. And last year, I don't think we felt that way. We felt, oh, boy, we're just happy to be here.
We're all a little tired, but we're excited to come right back to Vancouver. We had a battle and a war on Sunday, and we expect another one against Hamilton.
Well, it's always exciting to be in the Grey Cup week, and I think it's extra exciting to be back in BC after such a thrilling win on Sunday.
Calgary welcomed the good news that Kelvin Anderson was able to practice and should be ready to play Sunday.
As far as having the pain that I felt last week, it wasn't there, but you know, it's still a tender spot. But as far as the pain, it really was the pain that stopped me from playing last week, and that wasn't there, so I feel like I'll be okay.
The weekly festivities continued Thursday in less than ideal weather conditions. However, it didn't drown the spirits of the Grey Cup faithful. The Stampeders hosted a pancake breakfast, served up Calgary style with live entertainment and a Western theme, much to the delight of local Grey Cup fans.
And the folks from Calgary sure know how to do it up right now. We have had a blast so far, so have the players, but Chris, when does the fun end?
Well, the fun is over because now the 48-hour rule takes effect. The focus on football jumps to another level. You know, this is the opportunity for the players to create a memory, a lasting memory. They have run over this game in their mind over and over and over, and it's all about winning and losing. If you win a Grey Cup game, 1999 is a great year. You can put a little red check mark on there, great year. You lose the Grey Cup game, well, it's more than disappointing. It's like climbing a mountain, and all of a sudden someone at the top of the mountain says, well, go back down to the bottom and start all over again next year. This is not about the money. The money comes, the money goes. This is about that ring. That ring lasts a lifetime, Matty.
I can't believe you said it's not for the money, Schultz. We don't want to get into the 87 Grey Cup, do we?
No.
I'll tell you another thing the players are going through. They're locked into bed. Yeah, full lockdown's in effect. The game plans have all been fine-tuned. The X's and O's is all over with. And right now, the tension mounts from this point on because the finality of the Grey Cup is staring these players right in the face, Glenn.
Yeah, you're right. And while the guys are locked down in the rooms getting ready for the game, the fans are just starting to get up and get out there into the city. The 48-hour rule is in effect for the fans, but it's the opposite. 48 hours before the game, they're cranking it up. There's hospitality suites all over the city that are just rocking. These guys have just partying on, and there's guys from Ottawa and guys from Baltimore, teams that haven't been in the league for a long time. And guys, I want to tell you something. I've got my finger on the pulse of the festivities in this city. I'll keep you posted.
Oh, we knew that.
All right.
We definitely picked the perfect guy for the assignment there.
That's a real surprise.
You're a bit too much of an expert on that one. When we return, a little bit of Tabby talk for you. We will get up close and personal with Hamilton's main man, and we'll ask Ronnie Lancaster, why the heck did you call this play? Hey, it worked. It was that play to Higgins, and it was a good one. About 40 minutes away from the Dodge CFL Outstanding Player Awards. And you know, when decades end, well, we always like to say, who's the team of the 90s? The Argos won 3 Grey Cups, but remember, if Calgary wins this one, it'll be their 3rd and their 5th Grey Cup appearance. A good season, 12-6, 2nd in the West, 2nd in scoring, 4th best defense in terms of points allowed, and of course defeated Edmonton and defeated BC. And we are proud to welcome Calgary head coach Wally Buono. Now, Wally, we've seen this time and time again. When a team is hungry, they get their title, and then they come back the next year and they're a little bit complacent. How did you keep this team hungry?
Well, I think a couple of things. One is we talked about that we were not as good a football team as what we finished in 1998, and we weren't. We had lost Jeff Garcia, Fred Childers, Terry Vaughn, and you know, I think those are 3 key guys that we weren't able to replace. And you know, I think the players bought into what I was trying to tell them because that was the truth. We were not very good coming out of training camp, and we said all along that as the season progressed, we would get better, and then we did.
You sure did, Coach. And let me ask you, all week long, we have been giving the players perspective, and right now we know lockdown's in effect for the next 48 hours. Well, this leaves you and the head coach. And can you tell us, I don't know the answer to this, what do y'all do for the next 48 hours leading up to the Grey Cup?
Well, hopefully we're going to relax a little bit because it's been quite an intense couple of weeks. The way I look at it is our work is pretty much done. You know, we've got the players prepared. We've got them, I think, knowing what we want them to do to take away what Hamilton does. And now it's up to them. As I told the players, you know, the coaches help you get you to the playoffs. Now it's your turn to get us to the Grey Cup.
You know, Coach, your football team has won more games in the 90s than any other CFL football team, and you're unique in one respect. You combine the general manager duties as well as the head coaching duties. Which gives you a bigger gratification? Which do you take more pride in, building the football team or coaching it on a daily basis?
Well, I look at it as coaching. I mean, obviously, you know, building is an aspect that you do during the off season. It's not quite as intense or what you really look forward to doing, but I really look forward to the training camp when you get the players together, to the games. You know, I take a lot of pride in that, you know, but again, I got tremendous support staff. You know, our coaches do a tremendous job. Roy Shivers has always brought in good personnel, and you know, it makes my job a whole lot easier.
Coach, I truly believe that the Calgary Stampeders are the team of the 90s with the success that you've had, and you're back here in the game again. And this year, you got here with 3 different quarterbacks. Now, are you just able to go out and find all these great quarterbacks, or have you built the system so that you can plug in a quarterback and he can have success?
Well, again, I think we've built the system, but there's a lot of teams that have good systems. I think the thing that we've had is continuity, not only with the coaching staff, but with our players. I mean, you look at, you know, the guy that makes everything go, we say it's a quarterback, but, you know, it's also Alan Pitts. He's been there. He knows the whole offense. He really brings the guys together, especially offensively. And I think it's important for people to recognize that. You know, when we had Doug Flutie, I think this thing that we said was Doug will be surrounded by a good offensive unit. He left. Jeff Garcia had the same tools. He left. Dave had the same tools. And I think the greatest compliment could be when Mike McCoy came. Mike did what we just expect him to do. You know, throw the ball to the open receivers. But the receivers, the running backs, you know, they did what the system allowed them to do, which was, you know, read the coverages, get into the positions they're supposed to be. And I think that took a lot of pressure off the quarterbacking position.
Coach, you guys are the Grey Cup champions. You deserve an awful lot of respect, but yet you go around town this week and a lot of people are saying, you know, I like Hamilton this year. I like Hamilton this year. Maybe it's the fact they don't know Dave Dickinson as well as they knew Jeff Garcia. Does that bother you, or does it help motivate the troops?
Well, it doesn't bother me because they don't play. I think that's one thing we all who've played professional football know. It's the players that decide who wins and who loses. Obviously, everybody has an opinion, and I think that's what makes the fans of Canada unique. But from our perspective, we know what kind of team we are. We have a lot of respect for Hamilton. We have a lot of respect for ourselves.
All right. Thank you very much, Wally Buono, and good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
All right. Lots more ahead on our pregame show. When we return, we will talk, as promised, about the Hamilton Tiger Cats and talk to Ronnie Lancaster and ask him, Ronnie, Foley, Higgins, why'd you call this play? Welcome back to our Grey Cup preview and the Dodge CFL Outstanding Player Awards. And you know, the Ticats should feel right at home here because they've had as many peaks and valleys this season as the Rocky Mountains that form the backdrop to this beautiful city. Still pretty good year. 11-7, led the CFL in scoring, third fewest points allowed, and of course they beat Toronto and Montreal to make it to the Grey Cup game. And joining us right now is their quarterback, Danny McManus. We told you Ronnie Lancaster was going to come by. He's a little bit late, but we still have to ask the same sort of question. I got to ask you, Danny, what about that play, the third down play to Joe Higgins? Where did that call come from?
Oh, it came from the head coach.
Did you agree with it?
That wasn't yours?
Hey, you don't agree or disagree with the head coach. You just run the play exactly as he designed it. And, it was a gutsy call. It worked out. We thought we might be able to trick him and Joe be all by himself, but the defensive back read it, and my job is to throw it. I wasn't going to do anything else but throw it. That's coach's play.
Coach, or Danny, we talked about yesterday about your demeanor on the field, and we've talked about your great success. I want to talk about that quick release. I love your theory on getting rid of the football. You're only sacked, what, 7 times this year? Yeah. Got that quick release. It's what everyone talks about. Let's hear your theory.
I just don't want to get hit. my biggest thing is if I can get rid of the football, then they can't hit me. That's why I got the little guy standing next to me with the flag. So, I mean, if they hit me too late, then we're going to get a penalty out of it. It's just something that I've always had. My biggest fear is getting hit with the football. I mean, getting hit by if I still had the football. So if I can get rid of it, those guys are not allowed to hit me.
All right, Danny. Let me see if I can set this one up. All right. You get to a point in your career where you've made the throws. You can make all the throws on the field. You can read all the defenses. You understand the strengths and weaknesses. And yesterday I said that you were in that zone now. You were in quarterback bliss. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think to a point for sure. Like everything seems to come right now a little bit easier. My reads are coming a lot easier. I think it's just after the number of years of experience that when you're in that zone. Right now, I'm not into that touchdown zone right now because I haven't thrown it too many in the playoffs. But I think with the play call and that RD, the package that he gives me, things just work out. That right now that things are going pretty good. We just have to get a little bit better on Sunday.
RD being?
Yeah, my offensive coordinator, RD Lancaster. Right. Yeah, he's the one that sets the packages up. But when we get on the field, he lets me run all the plays, call everything, but he's the one that does the legwork for us.
You know, Danny, you're in the exact same position you are last year at this time. And, you know, it's one thing to get to the Grey Cup once, but you guys have recreated that success. And I'm curious, what's the difference on this 99 team as compared to 98, or is there anything that jumps out at you as a difference?
Well, I don't think there's really too much of a difference between the two teams. Last year, we were kind of rookies to the Grey Cup, all the festivities that happened, and I believe, even myself, I think we were just happy to get here after a 2-16 season. This year, the focus has been a lot better at practice. I'm very impressed with the way the guys have come to practice and even into the film room before practice. They're determined to try to make sure that we play a full 60 minutes, not 59.5 like we did last year.
All right, Danny, now, do one favor for us tonight. Look nervous. For once in your life.
Oh, around you guys, you make it so comfortable. It's easy to be up here.
Look nervous, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Now, as promised, we have talked to the quarterback. Now it's time to talk to the coach. Dave Randorf is with Ticats head coach Ron Lancaster.
Thank you very much, James. Your quarterback, as usual, loose as ever, but we've come to expect that from Danny McManus, haven't we?
Well, if he wasn't like that, I'd be surprised and amazed.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, he was pretty loose, too, when you made that call that everybody's been talking to you about all week. Well, I mean, it's a call that nobody expected, a 3rd and inches, and you go to a guy who probably hadn't caught a pass all season. What possessed you to make that call at that time?
Just what you said, a 3rd and inches. There's nobody expects that, and it's an element of surprise. And I visualized Joe going down the field wide open, walking in for a touchdown. But, hey, he made a heck of a catch. Danny put the ball the only place he could put it, and Joe went and got it. And we ask our players, when you're in a position and you get a chance to make a play, make it. And, boy, they made a great one at the right time.
Obviously, you're going to be asking them to make some plays on Sunday for the 2nd year in a row. And there's been a lot of talk this week, Ron, about how last year perhaps your team was just kind of happy to be here, where that's certainly not the case this year.
Well, I hope it wasn't the case last year, but yeah, we would really like to finish this thing off right. You know, every football team's going to climb to so far up a mountain, and then they're going to level off. And when you get the chance to get to the championship game, you need to win it, because it's very hard to get there, and to get there 2 in a row, very, very difficult to do. So let's try to finish it off right.
And of course, as everybody knows, it's a rematch. We all got a kick out of the press conference earlier this week. You sitting beside your good friend, a guy that you have a lot of respect for as a coach, Wally Buono.
No question. I know this playing Calgary. Wally's been there a long time. He's done an outstanding job. And when you play Calgary, you have to play 60 minutes because they're well coached. They're solid. Very seldom beat themselves. You have to beat them. And I give him all the credit in the world because he's done that for a long time.
Team ready, Coach?
You betcha.
Have a great time. Enjoy tonight, and good luck on Sunday.
Oh, we will. We're going to enjoy both.
All right. There's the head coach, Ron Lancaster. Back to you, James.
All right. Thank you very much, Dave and Ron. Still lots more ahead on the show. When we return, we will look back at the best of 1999, the plays that we liked the most. And you know what? Hey, even the Bombers had a couple. That's when we return. Welcome back to Canada Place in Vancouver and the Dodge CFL Outstanding Player Awards. People starting to file into the auditorium. The award show, just about 15-20 minutes away here on TSN. Now, this season we saw 76 games, more than 8,000 plays. Now, of all of those, here are the ones that made us go, wow, the best of 99.
This is what we're about! Woo! Canadian football, baby, at its finest.
Meanwhile, the Lions want a big return from Jimmy the Jet Cunningham. Still on his feet, across midfield, and Jimmy the Jet heads for the end zone. Has the Ottawa touchdown. Oh, baby.
For the Argos' first win of the season. Far enough. It's good.
It's all up to Paul McCallum now for Saskatchewan. He hits it. He's got it. Third and goal to go. It's about a yard and a half into the end zone. And he doesn't make it.
And McManus opens up, passing, dangerous. Picked off, Adrian Smith, touchdown Argos. Right side again, intercepted. Timed perfectly by William Hampton. And he is gone. Is he thinking about taking it out? He is. And he is getting it out. Corey Grant is still going. Giancola, the only one who can catch him, and he doesn't. Touchdown, Hamilton.
He's going long, looking for Pitts. Touchdown!
It looks like Stiegel is going all the way. 100 yards. Bond has another one. Chance for the touchdown. He'll get it. Terry Bond, yes. McManus comes once, looks to the corner. Andrew Gray, he's got the touchdown. That was brilliant.
Oh, my goodness. That is unbelievable. Ain't nothing like Friday night football, baby.
First and long. Handoff, Ryan Terry negotiating yardage. And a big move. Still going. Past the first down marker. Ryan Terry has some blockers, including Dave Barker to the 5. Touchdown Argos. On the toss to Mike Pringle. On first down, he gets outside.
I can take better. The guy hit hard last week, as a matter of fact.
It's close. We're in the final minute. They've got Kelly on. Maurice Kelly tries to get it. He's got it. Kelly, take it down to
47 on the clock.
Here's the play.
Bombers had a couple of miracles, but they fell one short in the final week of the season. Now, all season long, we've had you guys analyze plays, who's blocking who's covering who. Why don't expand your horizons a little and talk big picture? What stuck out in your minds from this season?
You know what stuck out in my mind this year was just how important the continuity of personnel is to a football team. The Hamilton Ticats and the Calgary Stampeders are here because they develop players. They have made the least number of changes in total of all the CFL football teams. Continuity, the ability to develop football players, specifically Canadian football players, absolutely is a prime thing in terms of winning. I really believe that's why these two teams are here. The other thing that was real obvious was the success in Montreal. Sellout after sellout after sellout to watch a very good football team. Hey, the Alouette organization took some risks, took some chances, and then had the ability to sustain and really capitalize in their market. You can do it in Montreal. You can do it in other places across the league. Those two things really impressed me, Matty.
Well, what I saw, Chris, was the dominance in defensive play. Defenses dominated the league across the East and West. And why? Because there are so many young quarterbacks being developed throughout the Canadian Football League. And I think this is the big reason why we saw so many 1,000-yard rushers in the league, and an importance and an emphasis on the running game. But the defenses did dominate. And I tell you this, things go in cycles. Look for those young quarterbacks to start getting the upper hand on the defenses here soon, and things will turn quickly, Glenn.
I love, Matt, that the defense has had some success.
I set you up, buddy. Yeah, I set you up.
I love that. But you know what I really enjoyed about this year's season was how it looked on the entire Canadian Football League. Attendance overall was up across the board. Ratings for television were up. You think about that Montreal situation. They were turning away 5,000 fans a game, 10,000 for the playoff game in Molson Stadium. Think of the Calgary Stampeders organization, what they have done in the 90s. Over 30,000 fans per game in McMahon Stadium. It really looks great on the league. And then John Tory, the commissioner, just today announced that the league is looking to expand into Ottawa and possibly Quebec. And I tell you what, that would be great for the country and great for the league. And I think not only has the CFL turned the corner, but it's down the stretch and it's gaining speed.
Right. Now, we are here tonight to honor a group of well-deserved players, the outstanding players in the league this year, but it's kind of too bad it's limited to such a small group. I want to ask you guys, the guys that aren't on the list tonight, other players that stuck out.
You know who really stuck out in my mind were a couple of fullbacks. I think the fullback position in football is really of critical importance, and it's very difficult because of the number of responsibilities you have. Michael Souls, I thought you had a great year. You showed leadership, you showed character. You can be an isolation blocker and knock the heck out of a linebacker, swing out in the backfield, and produce offensively with your legs. Great year. I hope you don't retire. And Dwayne Ford here for the Calgary Stampeders. If there's somebody better at blocking the blitz and determining that pressure, I haven't been able to see him. I thought he had a solid year as a fullback. I like fullbacks, and I think they're critical to the game, Matty.
Yeah, they are, Chris. Yeah. And another guy that was critical to this football team all year, and we heard it from everybody. Every week we'd hear Don Lindsay talk about Raphael Robinson. I thought he got overlooked. He was the team leader on that defense all season long and no postseason awards whatsoever. And in the East, I'm looking at Dan Giancola. This guy won a couple of games for the Toronto Argonauts. He came out of nowhere. Last year, he was packing groceries in bags, and this year he's winning football games for the Argonauts, Glenn.
Okay, you know what? My unsung heroes come from two teams that really struggled this year, and I'm talking about the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. In Saskatchewan, Michael Saunders had a tremendous game. You know what? When you're a football player and you're winning, it's fun. The game is a lot of fun. You enjoy going to practice. When you're losing, it's really tough to reach down every week and get ready to play. Mike Saunders was their most valuable player and had a tremendous year. And in Winnipeg, I'm talking about Maurice Kelly. Congratulations. He played great game in and game out. It didn't matter what the score was. Maurice Kelly and Michael Saunders are my unsung heroes.
I knew you'd pick a rider. I'm glad you picked a bomber, at least to balance things off a little bit. Now, when we, a couple of weeks ago, picked our nominees and our favorites for the Outstanding Player Awards, well, none of us picked Alan Pitts. In fact, a couple of us didn't even pick Alan Pitts to make it off of his team. We feel somewhat sheepish and a little bit scared. And that's why we're letting Dave Randorf interview Alan Pitts tonight. Dave?
That's probably a good idea. They're just talking about how they thought Kelvin was going to come off the stamps. Any comebacks from you, Alan?
Well, you know what? I thought Kelvin should have been the nominee as well, but since I've been around so long, I'm going to go ahead and accept it.
All right. Well, allow me to blow a little bit of smoke for the man. At 35 years of age, one of your finest seasons ever. You lead the league in receiving for the 5th time in your career. 8 out of 10 years now. You've gone over the 1,000-yard mark. And, of course, you break all of Elgaard's remaining records and become the all-time leading receiver in the CFL. That's obviously got to be gratifying in the year that you're nominated for this award.
Well, this has been a very good year. A lot of good things have happened personally, but I'm just so proud of my team, the way that we've just made progress throughout the season, the adversity that we've had to face, and the way we've come through it and made it to the Grey Cup. That's what's been most important.
I'll get to the Grey Cup in just a moment, but I got to ask you, at 35, I mean, a lot of guys have noted you are not slowing down one bit. How many more seasons you got in you?
Well, I'm taking it a season at a time, but I plan on playing at least 2 more. The thing that keeps me motivated and keeps me dry is just, I love to get out there and compete, especially when, you got a lot of guys talking a bunch of mess out there. It just makes you get up that much more.
It is your 5th Grey Cup. I asked you how practice was going this week, and you say it's gone great, and the team is very focused.
Yeah, when you come to the Grey Cup, there's a lot of distractions going on, a lot of other things. But during practice time, all the guys have been very focused, and we've gotten some very, very positive results out of practice this week.
And you've gotten some great results despite the fact that there's been a bit of a revolving door at your quarterback position this year. But Dave will be back on Sunday.
Yes, Dave will. But that's another reason why I've been so proud of us as a team, and specifically offensively, because everybody else had to pick up their level of play. Whoever came in at quarterback just to make them feel comfortable, and we did a good job of that, and we worked through the adversity.
Well, thank you for this. Good luck tonight in the awards category, and also good luck on Sunday, Alan Pitt.
All right, I appreciate it, Dave. Thank you.
All right, back to you, James.
Thank you very much, Dave. And Alan, by the way, I've changed my mind. I don't know about these guys, but I've changed my mind. Still to come, the glorious moments of Grey Cups past, like Kenny Plain in OT in '61.
Right hand is split. And Plain, if he can get away, will go for it.